Our next guest is Maui's only cobbler. Please remember that only at the Hawaii Small Business Conference can you hear from a Googler and a cobbler in the same afternoon. Terry Edmonds figured out YouTube several years ago. I looked yesterday, and I counted over 160 videos that Terry has posted to YouTube. Her shoe stretching tips video has been viewed over 86,000 times. Her top 10 videos combined have been viewed over 250,000 times. Terry is a great example of living and working on Maui, but thinking globally for her small business success. I'm just going to take a second here to tell you, you remember how cold it was this winter? So, TJ, where are you? The temperature plunged into the 60s. So, I bought a pair of those fuzzy slippers, you know. They were the right length, but they were so huge, they were way too loose. Did you ever see a tourist try to walk down the beach wearing scuba flippers? That's kind of what I looked like. So Terry fixed them up, and I highly recommend fuzzy slippers from now on. TJ, does it snow in Dallas? We got snow. Okay. Here to tell you how to use YouTube for video marketing is the owner of If the Shoe Fits, Terry Edmonds.
Aloha! Thanks for having me. I am so glad to be here. I am Terry Edmonds, and as Jerry said, I am the owner of If the Shoe Fits. In this segment, I'm going to cover 4 different things. I'm going to tell you about who I am, why I chose YouTube, how I use YouTube, and the benefits that it gave me, because I think that they will benefit you. Following up with Michael and Jules, they are dead on about it. I love their analytic tools that come from Google. Google sends me a report every month of how many people have looked at me, how many people called me, how many people went to my website. YouTube does the same thing. I have people from 20 different countries that watch my videos. So I'll cover that more, but let's start with who I am. So I started If the Shoe Fits in 2001 as a specialty footwear store. I happen to carry a very small selection of shoes for drag queens, and that made me famous for helping women with hard-to-fit feet. So I expanded that line. About 8 years into it, I was working with the local cobbler, Tester Shoe Repair. He was going out of business, and so I bought the business. I used his services to help make shoes wider, stretch shoes, things like that. So that was a really great relationship. But all in all, even though I have the power. Okay, so, actually I think that's not, let's see here. Yes, so I am a cobbler. That just happened, which is awesome. I am a fashion designer and for sure an entrepreneur, but my number one thing that I always wanted to do was be an artist, but not a starving artist. So I had to really figure out a way that I was going to be able to stay in business. I believe in being diversified. So I used to teach classes, shoemaking classes and things like that in my facility, and it all helped during all those economic downturns. I mean, it's been 18 years, so I went through September 11th, the housing crisis, all of that, and now it's awesome. I love where I am now, being able to be an artist. That's my shop. Oh, sorry. Let's see here. All right. So back in 2014, I started YouTube, and now I am a YouTuber, and it is so exciting because I do reach people across the globe. I chose video marketing because I ultimately, as part of my creative side, wanted to do a cooking show for shoes, sort of like Julia Child. And I really loved that she was able to be an artist and age. And I know videos, you know, being on TV and stuff, it can't be too friendly to the aging process, but I felt like I could come up with something that would work. I saw what Jules and Michael haven't discussed yet is the earning potential of being on YouTube. And when you put the effort into it, YouTube actually will pay you as a YouTuber. I really enjoy that the platform is free. It doesn't cost me a thing but a little bit of time, a lot of time. I get to control my own content. I love that. I have complete discretionary control. And it has an organic growth to it. So whatever I put into it, I get back out of it. I got my start on YouTube. Basically, I did some collaborations. The first one that I did was with a YouTuber by the name of Video Joe. He does a how-to fix whatever. He's a contractor. And he told me, and I knew that he really made the numbers work and made money doing it. Also, so Video Joe came into my shop in Wailuku and filmed about 10 videos. We made over my workshop. Everything went from boring, dull cobbler to pink studio. So that was awesome. And then I did a lot of studying with my producer friend, David Whitney, who is recording this for my YouTube channel. So any of the tips I give you will be on my YouTube channel, Terry Edmonds. We did a Mad Libs. I did some acting in the Mad Libs, so I learned about lighting, angles, things like that. Also, Secret Life of Shoes, David and I produced about my story and how I've helped women. It's a story, it's a long story, so I'm not going to go into it here, but it too is on my YouTube channel. And then we also did Yapping with Terry and Dave. We did 2 seasons, I think it was probably 24 episodes of a podcast, but a video podcast, which was awesome. Again, during all of this time working with David, I learned things about lighting, framing in the camera, just other tips that really do help. And you can YouTube it or Google it, and there are a lot of videos out there that will give you techniques. Also, I researched successful YouTubers. So I met Video Joe. I met him here on Maui, and he'll let me share this, but at the time he had 10,000 subscribers. His videos had about 10,000 to 30,000 views per video. And he told me, I knew he was making between $2,000 to $4,000 a month just from YouTube. And so then I met another YouTuber, and her name is Pink So Foxy. She was out here on Maui and also had a very successful channel. Her subscribers at the time were about 300,000, and she supported her family making YouTube videos. How to fold a sheet, shopping at Costco. I mean, it blew my mind of the kind of content that people want to see. So no matter what your business is, really say it's possible. If it's possible for me, throw some ideas out there for yourself. You'd be amazed. And then I personally like to follow Think Media. This guy's great. I've gotten a lot of tips about the length of your video. Really, it should not be more than 3 minutes. Mine are all 8. But then I look back at Pink So Foxy, and her videos are 20 minutes long, 30 minutes long. And so I don't really just fit in the structure of what they say. Like Michael said, you can kind of create on your own. Anyway, so we'll move on from there. All right, so this to me is the most important thing that I think you'll be interested in, and it's how to make a video. First off, I want to start with, I do have a website. And on my website, I use WordPress. WordPress has a wonderful search engine optimization tool. So my process is, I make a video, I load it to YouTube, and then I write a little blog on my WordPress site, which is super easy for a person who doesn't know tech. And it tells me, you want to write 300 words? It gives you a green light, a yellow light, or a red light as to whether your content is optimized for searching. I also do a Google search. Before I even do my video, I check to see what other people are Googling. What are the top 10 things people are searching? Is it how to dye leather black, or is it dyeing leather? Is it dyeing a leather jacket? And it really does tell you how the best way to title your video, and then you organize your video accordingly. So I post the video on my website, then I go ahead and publish that. I do a link to Facebook. I use Facebook. For my local business, I have about 2,400 followers, and I get a lot of local business, just keeping them up to date, at least a post a day, what I'm doing, and it is not overtaxing on my very busy schedule. And then I also post my YouTube video, and I use things like the Google or YouTube Analytics tells me that the best time for me to post a video is on Saturday or Sunday morning. That's when I get the most views, and the first 72 hours of publishing your video is where you're going to get most of your hits. If you get a lot of hits, YouTube will now push a little more. Maybe it'll come up on the side of your screen there that says suggested videos. So actually, this small business conference came up because I posted the video from KHON. And so that came up as suggested videos. So timing, organization, keeping it simple, and what else? Loving what you do. You've got to love it. I mean, if I did my ideal videos, they would be walking through the forest with a selfie stick. But those don't get the views. The views are the how to stretch shoes because there are so many people in the world that have big feet. So I go to a lot of work to put those together. I get the right lighting. The only tools that I have to use that I want to encourage and share with you, I use my iPhone, right? Everybody's got that, or a phone. I like the iPhone because it has a lot of storage space. And then I have this beautiful thing called the ring light. This thing is so awesome, and it is all about lighting. These things, either using natural light or a ring light, this cost me about $150 on Amazon. And just look at that. It takes away so many wrinkles. So if I had to suggest some tools, it would definitely be, a ring light like this, because you can use it anywhere if you don't have access to natural light. I like using a free editing tool. Mine happens to be iMovie. So, and then I use my cell phone. Other things like, again, going back to Think Media, there's a lot of things about noise in the air. Make sure you don't have your ACs going. Your audio content is really important. Try to make it look as professional as possible, but you don't have to know anything. Video Joe took one camera, stood it in the room, and he would go take off wallpaper for 20 minutes and talk to the camera. And his subscribers went from 10,000 to 50,000. And if I told you how much he was making at 10,000, you can imagine how much he's making at 50,000 subscribers. Now, it's not just how many subscribers, it's a combination of things. How many videos you produce, how long people watch your video, do they watch the full ad? So there's a whole bunch of things that make up what your revenue is going to be like. So let's go to the next one, which was the impacts that YouTube has had. I, professionally and as an artist, it is so exciting. I have people a woman came from Canada, saw my video on moccasins, and ordered a moccasin while she was here for her trip. I get shoe repair sent to me from across the country. It's crazy. They pay the shipping both ways, but they actually see my video. I get a ton of questions. And the other really important thing about the next one is increased revenue, right? The shoe repair, I get that mail order, and then I get to be an artist. So I take a little bit of time, I carve out for myself where I get to make custom sandals or belts, things that sell easily long distance, So that's always fun. And passive income. This is really exciting because I make money while I sleep. So those classes I was teaching at my workshop, it would take a whole weekend. Now I take one weekend, the whole weekend, because it's hard to do, and I produce a video, and I never have to do it again. It makes money while I sleep, and I make money on YouTube while I sleep. So if there's anything to encourage you to give it a try, it's that. Then the other thing is I do affiliate marketing. And you can do that with almost anybody, and mine happens to be Amazon, so I'm going to give you an example. I used to have a shoe stretching video. I show 5 different tools that I sell or that I use, and I have linked those to an Amazon shopping cart. And so what I'll say in my video, okay, so I use this tool, stretch it like this, and I've put a link, click this link right here, which YouTube offers, and it'll take you to my Amazon shopping cart. So it takes you to my website, which has the link for that stretching tool. You can click on that link. Now, the most amazing thing is, let's say Joe Smith clicks through that link, and he has 24-hour window that he decides, well, I'm not going to buy that stretcher, but I actually like these bunk beds, and he buys the bunk beds. I make an average of 8% on every single thing you buy when you're in my portal. And it's there for 24 hours, so if you decide not to buy something, you go on the next day, buy something, it's still going to give me credit for it. And I actually sold bunk beds. Crazy. So that's really exciting. And then the other thing that I really like is, and I have to encourage you, is it does take a lot of time. You have to get 1,000 subscribers before you can start making money on YouTube, which is a good thing because it filters some people out. You have to be consistent. Sometimes it feels like it's just not going to pay, and then all of a sudden a video goes to 84,000 views. You know, it's pretty darn exciting. So if you haven't thought of it before, you're on the edge of it, Google. Check what's out there in your industry. If you're a realtor, maybe you can also encourage people to buy this really great piece of art that seems to sell well and build your own Amazon shopping cart. But affiliates are available from anywhere. Target, Walmart, you can do all kinds of things. I like Amazon because it covers everything and it's super easy. And so I think that's it. Do you have any questions for me? That's an excellent question. When it came to the website, I had somebody build my website for me, but train me how to post the blogs myself, because I have no budget for advertising. It's all my own blood, sweat, and tears. So I did all of everything else myself. And then, of course, by collaborating and working with my friend David Whitney, I got a whole bunch of tools and advice about lighting. So that'd be my biggest thing. Just spend some time on YouTube Googling others, and there's so many videos of how to be an influencer, how to make money on YouTube. It's crazy. And it's really easy. You can do it yourself. Just takes time. Yes, sir?
Do you do your own camera work? And you talk about storyboarding. Do you use an app for that, or do you draw it?
I just draw it manually. I do. That's a great question. Once I figure out what my Google topic is and the way I'm going to frame my title, then I write the outline, and I make sure I have a big thing right now on YouTube is using numbers. What are the 4 ways to build a trinket set or whatever, 5 steps to. So I use that. I pick something that I'm going to sell from Amazon, and I do all of it myself. I usually, I just do it all myself. And if you get the lighting right, lighting's really the important thing. But so I'd say get a good light, get a camera, and you're good. I can check it. You can do, on my iPhone, I can reverse the lens so I can see that the picture's right. In a picture, you want to make sure if you split it into a grid of 9, you want to make sure that your eyeballs are either dead in the middle or on one of the grids. If you have a corner behind you, that also is really good for photography. Again, for me, because I'm a tutorial, I have everything bright lighting. But if you want to be really artistic and create a movie or do something like that and express yourself, there are a whole bunch of different lighting techniques I would look into. But mine's simple. It's clean, clear, and this thing is just a magician. Yes, ma'am?
Excuse me?
Oh, sure.
Sorry, I've been waiting for a couple.
Oh, sorry.
hands.
Hi.
Hey. I was just wondering, when you decide to switch topics, do you choose a different name every time? So like you had the conversation with your friend and you did a couple series. Did you have a name for that? And then you switched over to a different name for another set of series?
That is an excellent question. Personally, I put everything on one just because I had already gotten such momentum under the shoe reviews and the shoe tutorials that I just leave it as like it's another playlist. It's called a playlist, and it's just another part of my life. I do one that's called In the Press, that's on there, because because the channel's my name. However, other YouTubers will tell you to try a separate page for each, but for me, I've worked so hard at getting this going, I'm going to stay. Good question.
Thank you.
Yeah. And there was, yes, hi.
Mahalo. I have a two-part question. So how long did it take you to get your first 1,000 subscribers? And you know, in Facebook and Instagram, there are ways to run ads in order to help people get interested in your page. Does YouTube have something like that too, or no?
Yes, that's an excellent question. I started making money when YouTube was still paying without 1,000 subscribers. And then they changed their policy and I stopped getting any money. That was heartbreak for me. And it took about 4.5 to 5 years to get to 1,000 subscribers. But I knew how much money I can make at it. So I just kept going. I kept getting better. My first videos, oh my gosh, they're embarrassing. I still keep them there, but they're embarrassing. So it took a lot of determination. But now, at 1,000, they're growing so fast. I get 115 subscribers a month. So that's great. And my revenue, since that happened, has doubled. I mean, it grows exponentially every month. So I'm in for good now, right? And then what was the other part?
Facebook and Instagram,
yeah.
you can kind of run Facebook ads and Instagram ads
Yeah.
on the back end to get people interested. Can you do that on YouTube as well?
No, like I do Facebook, the paid boost. They boost my post. And I usually spend about $30 if I do. And they give you great control over how many people you want. The area of Maui, you can expand and just say, I want to hit all of Maui. My budget's $30, and they'll say how many people you've reached. They actually tell you how many people saw it, how many people clicked on it. So I only do that like when I'm trying to let people know that I'm a work boot provider locally. As far as YouTube goes, they really don't like you to leave their platform and send people away. So I kind of balance it. I make money on YouTube, but I also make money on Amazon. So YouTube seems to be supporting me, and I try to follow their algorithms to stay on their good graces. So I think I have a good balance. Good question. Okay. I think that's it.
That's it.
Thank you so much. Woo!
I hope your story will go through there.